Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy.
You are listening to Phantasm Podcast.
Hey, this is Trevor Sternad.
Brian H. back from the Black Dahlia murder.
Tom Gabriel Warrior. Eric Green from Simple Tour.
Ross Dolan from Immolation.
This is Anthony Michael.
We are Gorgasm.
Ismail from Crater.
This is RNC of Body Count.
Terrence from Suffocation.
Phantasm Podcast.
Join your host Corey Gorechrist and Dr. Vincent West for exclusive interviews with the sickest bands in metal and more. Head over to cultopphantasm.com, the only gravesite for all things horror and death metal. No filler, all killer.
Sell the metal! Sell the metal! Sell the metal! Sell the metal!
Dr. Vincent West.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm good, my friend. I have a TriStar Pictures logo here. It's another classic version of Phantasm here, just doing the film. Doing the Doctor across the way. Still in the COVID era of Phantasm. Doctor, what film do we have? Courtesy of HBO.
You're watching The Hitcher.
The moment he stops, the terror starts.
I swear I didn't kill those people. I got sprayed by this guy who picked up hitchhikers.
Do you believe me? The Hitcher, rated R, starts Friday at a theater near you.
From 1986.
Late and great Rutger Hauer. One of his best fucking roles. This movie's just really good. It's classic. It kind of gets thrown under the rug a little bit when it shouldn't. It's actually a very good movie. It's just...
This is an awful premise, too.
Yeah, you can barely see it. Way to go there, HBO. Now, do you have, like, the HBO Max? Is that what you have, too?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Because I know
I
there's...
just have HBO on demand through cable.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because mine kind of... I had, like, HBO Go. Forgot Jennifer Jason Leigh's in this. I have HBO Go, and it kind of converted into HBO Max, so that's, like, what it is now. But
I mean, I guess, technically...
it's the same shit, but the HBO Max is like
But
an
the thing
app.
is I don't have I don't have access to all those, things, so...
Yeah.
Mark Isham, very famous composer. I have to look him up, but he's done a ton of scores to stuff. Good stuff, too.
Who was it? I didn't see it.
Mark Isham. Or Isham, however you say that, but he's done a bunch of scores to a bunch of movies that I like.
Did Point Break, Of Mice and Men, Blade.
Like I said, he's done some great shit. He's a really underrated composer. And for you guys watching this, if you've never seen this movie, there's a remake of this film that Sean Bean did from like 2000, I think, something like that. And it's really good too. I don't normally like remakes, but it's damn good. They did a good job with it.
I actually haven't seen it.
I don't even have a preference. Like, I love the old one, but normally I would love the old one more. But honestly, I think both of them are great films. But seeing Thomas Howell has been in some of my favorite movies. He did a movie called Side Out that I absolutely, still to this day, love, and I'm on DVD because there's no Blu-ray.
He's in Red Dawn, isn't he?
He's in a bunch of great movies, but Side Out, I don't know why I love that movie. I could watch that movie every day. And his uncle, and that's the guy that played Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah. Also famously Outsiders, too. He's in.
Oh, yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, he is in the new Suicide Squad. Or no, it's the anime thing. The animated thing he did.
Oh, that's awesome.
That Hell to Pay thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he was, let me see who he was in that. He was a voice for somebody. Voice cast.
Really underrated actor. I actually always liked this guy. I grew up with him. He's just a good actor.
He was Professor Zoom and Reverse Flash.
That's awesome.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, C. Thomas Howell's a shit. Rutger Hauer, of course. It was directed by a Robert Harmon. Kind of didn't really do too many notable things. Like, he did Nowhere to Run. That's with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Trying to see what else he did here.
My main thing with this is, why would you ever pick somebody up on the side of the road? Because I would not.
Some people used to do that, man, especially in the...
You could just start off this movie by just saying, don't pick up hitchhikers, I guess is the moral of this whole film.
Yeah. No, totally. I guess for the people that somehow did, you know, think it was okay to just pick someone up on the side of the road. You know,
I'm telling you, my biggest plot flaw with this entire film as a kid, even as a child, when I saw this, was why in God's name would you pick up a fucking hitchhiker? If you're going to pick one up, at least pick up a hot chick, not some dude wearing a trench coat in the rain.
Yeah.
That just screams problem, you know?
And he doesn't look too enticing to pick up anyway.
His character in this movie is very similar to me as the character that he plays in Blade Runner.
Yeah.
He's very dark and brooding, and it's also similar to the character that he played in Nighthawks with Billy D. Williams and Stallone.
Yeah.
Where he's an international bomber. Another great film, but yeah,
he's pretty cerebral.
Honestly, I think one of the best actors, like, from my childhood. Like, I really think he's unsung. He's great in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He's great in everything he's ever been in.
Yeah. He is. He's phenomenal. He's just so cerebral in what he does. It's uncanny, you know. He's one of a kind actor for sure. Now, Eric Red, who was the screenwriter for this, he also did a little film called Near Dark. So, same guy wrote this.
It's beautiful.
And that movie too, what a fucking cast. Just an awesome movie. Let's see what else he did. He also produced screenplays, did Blue Steel, Body Parts, Bad Moon. So he's got some good shit.
Seen all those movies.
Let's see what else here we can dig up in this movie. Let's some IMDb shit for a minute while we're getting the vibe set here.
I always love the way this film just plays out. It's just morbid. And the other thing with this movie is I mean, even with no audio on, you can just tell that fucking Rutger Hauer is menacing. Like, you just don't know.
Yeah. I mean, he sells it.
I'll be honest with you. This is morbid to actually say this without getting too much into my personal life, and I'll just say this. This would be like Corey picking me up on the side of the road right now.
I can see it.
You really should never pick up Dr. West on the side of the road. I mean, seriously, he's just brooding. Look at him. It's fucking awesome.
Let's see, go into some trivia here, and this goes right into what you just said. C. Thomas Howell admitted that he was actually afraid of Rutger Hauer on and off the set because of Hauer's general intensity. Rutger Hauer did a lot of the stunt driving throughout the movie, which amazed the crew and even the real stunt drivers. So he's just a fucking all-around badass. He's like, fuck you, I'm going to drive my own car. In Rutger Hauer's book, All Those Moments, Hauer mentioned how executive producer Edward S. Feldman settled on Sam Elliott for the role of John Ryder. Hauer states, that apparently Elliot was so scary when he came in to audition that Edward S. Feldman was afraid to go out to his car afterward. Sam Elliott had a scheduling conflict and had to back out of the role.
Hold on, stop right there. You're telling me Sam Elliott, one of my favorite actors on the planet, was supposed to play this role?
Yeah.
Dude, that would have been fucking bitchin' too.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see it. Especially
that's the coolest thing you have said in months on this podcast.
Especially since, there's like Roadhouse fucking Sam Elliott. God damn.
Well, that's the same era. It's right
exactly.
around there,
Yeah. So let's see. The original script was long enough to make a 3-hour movie. Scenes that were never filmed include Ryder slaughtering an entire family, an eyeball appearing in a hamburger. This was replaced in a finger and a plate of French fries. A graphic sex scene between Gal Galveston, the girl before Nash, and Jim, a character being decapitated. This movie underwent several rewrites which removed the gorier moments. Good lord. That would have been nice, you know. Let's see. While performing the last bit of the windshield stunt, Rutger Hauer knocked out one of his teeth with a shotgun he held in his hands.
Damn.
Yeah, he's the real deal. Jennifer Jason Leigh agreed to do this movie because she wanted to work with Rutger Hauer again. They co-starred in Flesh and Blood the year before and loved the character of Nash because there was a real person there. Christopher Nolan has listed this as one of his favorite movies of all time. Good for him.
Christopher Nolan, huh?
Yeah.
You know, the interesting thing, not to get on a rant about Christopher Nolan, I'm not a fan of his stuff, but at least he has good taste.
Yeah? Oh, yeah. I think, some of it comes out in his work. I mean, you can see where some people get things from or like to nod certain things, and he's too, over-imaginary for me. I like more, it's different when it's, escapism versus just, over-imagination, It's, too stimulating, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like stuff that makes me think the entire movie. It's I just want to, relax and watch something and not be you gotta be on the edge of your seat and you don't know who's what and what's going on. It's well, I don't really like that, I get suspense versus stuff like that, is different, but the way he does it, I don't
my problem with Christopher Nolan is the fact that
he's
12 Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, well, he has 12 moving pieces in one scene.
He thinks he's Stanley Kubrick, I'm telling you, he literally does.
No, I don't.
That war movie he put out a couple years ago, the trailers for it, when you and I saw it in the theater, I'm do you not remember me making fun of it? I'm well, does this motherfucker think he's Stanley Kubrick?
Yeah.
You can't steal someone else's medium, man. Do your own thing. And I think he's talented. I think he tries to be Stanley Kubrick, and it's no one on this planet will ever be Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick was Stanley Kubrick, and that's it. Just like Alfred Hitchcock was Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
And David Lynch is David Lynch. I mean, if you have a specific shooting style, you can't mimic that. Tarantino's Tarantino. There's people that are really good at what they do.
Yeah. Well, this goes to this scene we're seeing right here. See, Thomas Howell's fear when Rutger Hauer was holding a knife near his eye was genuine. Hauer improvised the line and the position of the knife. Good God. So right here, as you're watching this is actually his real reaction, because Rutger Hauer was improvising with the knife and what he was telling him, so he was actually freaking T. Thomas Howell the fuck out, which is insane. In early drafts of the script, John Ryder had been described as skeletal in nature, and so actors like David Bowie, Sting, Sam Shepard, Harry Dean Stanton, and Terrence Stamp were mentioned. Harry Dean Stanton, I love.
Oh, you're saying Terrence Stamp was supposed to play this role?
They were mentioned in the who they would like to play him, yeah.
Dude, Terrence Stamp is one of my favorite actors. If you guys don't know who that is, he's General Zod from the Superman films. He's also in a little movie that I love about 3 drag queens called Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, which, in my opinion, is the superior film to that Tu
Wong Fu
bullshit,
Yeah.
which is a turd compared, in my personal opinion, compared to fucking Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Never seen it.
It is the shit. That movie, honestly, is just a really... I saw that with my gay cousin. Well, shout out to Jimmy there. We saw that at the theater together, and I loved it. Priscilla, Queen of the Desert is just a crazy movie. It's Hugo Weaving and Rutger Hauer. Or, excuse me, not Rutger Hauer, watching Rutger Hauer. It's Hugo Weaving and Terrence Stamp, and there's somebody else that I really like in that film. Can you pull the cast for that for me?
Yeah.
There's three people. There's one more terrific actor in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, and I cannot remember their name. Oh, God, who is it? There's somebody else that is just genius that's in that movie with them.
Guy Pearce. Guy Pearce.
Yep. So there you go.
Nice.
I mean, does it get any better than that? I mean, those guys are just the best actors, you know. Anyway, kind of a weird film. You don't mind find that surprising that I love that movie, but I absolutely love that movie. It's just
Yeah, it seems pretty cool, actually. I'll have to check it out. Let's see. Still do
if I'm
some...
not mistaken, Shout Select put it out. I think I do have it. I'm looking at it right now. I've got it.
Nice.
What a shot.
Let's see. In the early drafts of the script, John Ryder had been... Okay, we already read that. Screenwriter Eric Red said that this movie was inspired by the Doors song Riders on the Storm.
Interesting.
It is interesting. It's amazing what music can inspire you to do. You can write this fucking crazy-ass fucking movie. The coach stops at Roy's Motel and Cafe, which is a famous landmark on the old Route 66, now Interstate 40. Can be found in Amboy, California. It has been featured in many movies and documentaries. C. Thomas Howell considers this movie to be one of his personal favorites. For the role of Jim Halsey, producers mentioned Matthew Modine, Tom Cruise, Emilio Estevez, and Charlie Sheen. It's fucking crazy. This is crazy. George W. Bush served on the board of the company that made this movie.
That's interesting.
It's weird. Okay. Entertainment Weekly ranked this as the 19th scariest movie of all time. On the... I don't know. On the jail wall you can read Mort aux matons, probably written by a previous prisoner, translated literally to Death to the Mates in French. I don't know, it's weird. At one point, screenwriter Eric Red wanted John Ryder to have an electronic voice box. That would have just been strange. I don't know about that. The shotgun that Ryder takes from the cops at the climax of this movie, spoiler alert, is a Spaz 12 semi-automatic tactical combat shotgun. You don't fuck around with that shit. 20th Century Fox was to have distributed this movie before TriStar Pictures took over. It's interesting. It might be why we don't have a Blu-ray. This is one of the few movies to which Roger Ebert gave 0 stars. When he and Gene Siskel denounced this movie for its violence on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, Carson asked them if they were opposed to censorship, and Ebert replied, "Of course, the film should be made. It should be shown, and it should not be attended by anybody." They're a bunch of fucking cocksuckers. Let's see. At around 31 minutes, C. Thomas Howell accidentally kicked Gene Davis in the head. So I don't know if we've got to that part yet. No, we're only at 17 minutes, folks, so we got a little while. We can see the accidental... We haven't even seen Gene Davis yet. Anyway. Let's see. The Mexican direct-to-video movie Deadly Road is a spin-off of this movie. It's weird. Eric Red, the screenwriter, can be seen in a cameo role toward the end of this movie as a deputy sheriff escorting the prisoner to the transfer bus. So that's pretty cool. Yep, that's pretty much that. Little trivia. Now, what about, how is the 2007 one, like the remake, like, as far as, is it just its own thing, like more of a reboot, or did they kind of try to make it like this one?
They tinkered with it a little bit, but I'm going to be honest with you, I really enjoyed it.
Let's say just Sean Bean's an amazing actor, you know, I don't think he gets as much credit as he deserves, you know, but yeah, I can totally see it. I've just never really tried to watch it. Of course, all the parts in this movie, it's obviously filmed in California, but it's like, you know, all over the place, like Mojave Desert and SoCal and Death Valley National Park.
That actually pisses me off. I'm looking this up right now. They never actually put Priscilla Queen of the Desert. Why is that not a Shout Select title?
Tu Wong Fu is, I think that's what you're thinking of.
Is a Shout Select title, but they never did Priscilla Queen of the Desert. That's shameful.
I don't know.
Priscilla Queen of the Desert is actually before that movie, too. Why is Dr. West talking about drag queen movies today? I don't know, because I'm weird. But, yeah, that actually doesn't exist on Blu-ray.
Huh.
From Shout Select. I have the Blu-ray, but there's no Shout Select Blu-ray. Huh. That shows you how dumb I am. I did not even know.
Well, should we do the, go ahead and do
anyway,
the Alter?
You all should watch that movie. It's really good. It's actually a really good film.
Whoop.
It's a great cast. All three of those guys. Hugo Weaving. It's the first thing I ever saw Hugo Weaving in, too, which is weird. And probably for a lot of kids, this was probably to switch back to our teacher and stop talking about that movie, but I think we're just OCD'd on it. But
I just looked up, and he's got a truck.
His first movie.
Yeah, he just has a truck. I missed something.
Oh, no, it never shows him. He just gets it.
He's just following the dude. You know, see Thomas Howell.
Steven Spielberg's first film is a film we need to do on this podcast. It's a movie called Duel. And it's about Dennis Weaver is a businessman on a road trip, and he's being stalked by this guy in a tractor-trailer truck, which J.J. Abrams later stole and made his little movie.
Which one?
The thing with Paul Walker.
Paul Walker.
Well, they're being chased by a trucker, which is nothing but a straight-up rip-off of Duel.
Isn't that called, like, Rest Stop or something? Joyride?
Correct.
Joyride, one of those?
And Joyride is nothing but a fucking blatant rip-off of Steven Spielberg's Duel.
J.J. Abrams did Joyride?
Yes, he directed it and wrote it.
Wow.
It's a straight-up goddamn rip-off of Duel.
Wow.
I'm telling you, that guy's a fucking hack. Anybody that thinks that guy's talented is as clueless as he is. I mean, I have and that's an actual legitimate complaint that I have there about him. I mean, Joyride is literally nothing but a fucking comedic ripoff with scary elements that he straight up took from the movie Duel.
So weird. Boom, here's Rutger Hauer.
Raiders are my two favorite Spielberg films.
Yeah, Raiders is definitely my favorite. I've never seen Duel, so we'd have to do that.
It's very good. I highly recommend it. It's actually seriously is fantastic. It's a really good movie. I'll tell you how much I love Duel. Give it to me all day long over fucking overrated Jaws.
Yeah.
All day long. Give me Duel all day long. Sorry, Kevin Smith, but you need to go study your film stuff better, because I'm telling you, Duel is 1,000 times better film than Jaws is.
I don't know the thing about Jaws. Like, I get it. Like, it's fine.
I'm a horror guy. I'm not a fucking wannabe comedian. I'm a fucking horror guy, so I like Duel better. And definitely, I'll even bet you everything I own that whoever did this movie, this cat that did this movie that we're watching, the Hitcher from '86, is was a fan of Duel, because Duel is a very similar premise. This is just way more batshit crazy.
Yeah, way more. This is...
Duel is a great fucking movie, and Duel, believe it or not, Wheelchair Fucker had never seen it. We watched it a while back, so I got the Blu-ray, and he was like, man, this is really good. I'm like, yeah, I told you, it's a great movie.
Oh, I'll have to watch it. Is it streaming on anything?
You know, I always like to talk about stuff that I've been watching recently. Besides Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, I've been watching Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
For some reason, I've been on a John Belushi kick, and I've been watching that and Animal House and fucking Neighbors
and Neighbors is good.
And I really want to ask you real quick as a Ghostbusters fan. I was really thinking about this recently. I have to honestly say, as much as I've been watching stuff with John, I think John could have pulled off Venkman.
That role was written for him. You know,
it would have been different, you know, because Bill puts his own spin on everything he does, and he's a genius. But I think John could have totally pulled off Venkman.
I think he could have pulled it off, but
it would have been a lot darker. And I think if that movie had been
that's what they were going to do.
Initially talked about it, I think that movie would have been really dark.
The movie was a lot different than what they made it. You know, like the way it was supposed to be is completely different than the way it turned out, and there was a lot of factors for that, you know. But
so it was it supposed to be darker?
Yeah, it was supposed to be a lot darker and scarier and more like along the lines of horror than it was. You know, definitely a comedy, but you know, it was supposed to be.
Let me ask you this too. So when John was attached to that film, it's Halloween time, so we're going to take a second to like Corey's favorite film ever made. And I'm on a John Belushi kick, so we're going to kind of run the gambit here on this, if you don't mind. Let me ask you something about it, because you would be the authoritarian on this. So, was Ernie Hudson always attached to it as well, and fucking Harold Ramis, or were they not always attached to it? I know Dan obviously was.
Harold was, you know, him and Dan. You know, Dan was the one that came up with everything, and you know, like the underlying story and stuff. But Harold was the, you know, the other guy for sure. Like they both spearheaded the idea of Ghostbusters, and of course Ivan, and they all kind of had their moving pieces. Now Ernie came in later because the original, that character was written for Eddie Murphy. That's who was going to be Winston. Now just imagine that if it was, you know, Dan, Harold, Eddie, and fucking John. That's just absolutely
it's pretty badass. I mean, nothing against what it turned into, but you can't tell me there's not a Saudi that would love to have seen that, and it came out maybe a couple of years earlier.
Yeah, if I could go back in time to alter anything in this planet, not even to change time as we know it and do anything crazy like that, I would just go back and alter just to see what that movie would have looked like if it went ahead and it just worked out that way.
Well, number one, if you got them in it in that time frame, that movie would have been rated R, because everything John was in was rated R.
And Eddie, too, at the time.
Oh, God, are you kidding me?
All of his shit. So, I mean,
and
just to see that, you know?
And again, nothing against fucking Ernie and fucking Bill, but you've got fucking Saturday Night Live an alum if you've got the four of them doing that film.
Yeah. I mean, Bill was alum, too, because he was with Dan, and Eddie, you know.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. So, what about so that would have been John Candy then in that film then instead of Rick Moranis as well?
Yeah, but the thing with John Candy is he wanted to kind of he wanted such a weird part as the Rick roll, like what he was trying to I was gonna say Rick roll. I guess I could put in that music for a second. But he wanted to make the Louis Tully character like super like German, and then he had like these German shepherds, and he dressed like stereotypically German, and it was just like really strange, like what he was trying to do with it. He just kind of
I think it sounds funny myself.
It does sound. It would have been hilarious. It was, but people don't imagine it because they already. But even I can imagine that and be okay with it because like I've seen, you know, it's my favorite movie, but I can also look into it and be like, that would have been funny too. You know, some people hold things way too tightly and are like, no, that's stupid.
John Candy in '82, that's like fresh out of Stripes. I mean, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, like I would have loved that, but I love Rick Moranis. I love what he did with the Lewis character. I thought it was perfect, but some people, like I said, even me, I'm very protective of that movie. It's my favorite thing of all time. I eat, breathe, and shit it. And I have my Ghostbusters socks on as we speak. You got me for my birthday.
But
So-
you're with me, though, that John would have been interesting.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I was getting there. Like, people hold things way too tight because they can't imagine it being any different. They don't want it anything different. But I can see past that horse shit, and I'm actually like, dude, John Candy would have been great in that, no matter what it came. Even if it was a weird German guy with German Shepherds, like, he's John Candy, it would have been fucking hilarious. Instead of being like this, like accountant nerd that Louis Tully was, that Rick Moranis played, but that was awesome. It's very iconic. But you can't sit here and tell me that whatever John Candy came up with wasn't going to be iconic. I mean, come on, It just would have. People just can't imagine it,
Well, to me personally, not to duke on Car Shield, but I got Eddie Murphy in that role would have just been hilarious.
Honestly, with all of them together, though, I mean, they would. It almost would have been too much. Like, that kind of cast would make your fucking head explode. Like, there probably would have actually been.
The funny thing is, wouldn't it have been funny, though, if they had made that film? I just want to pose your question. We'll get back to the Hitcher, but wouldn't it have been funny if that film had came out? So you've got Eddie and Dan and Harold and John. It's rated R, and it made no money, and it's this cult film. I still think if it had all the New York stuff, I still think you would have been obsessed with it.
Oh, I would have, no doubt. And Thomas Howell just ate a finger. He was about to.
Well, see, I want to tell you what I read. I read that it was supposed to have a different director. See, I read it was supposed to be the fucking John Landis was supposed to have directed it, if they had made it back then.
Yeah, I think that, obviously with Harold and working with Animal House and stuff, like, they probably he was kind of more eyeing that, but I guess since he started working with Ivan, I guess they were both kind of in consideration for it. But, I mean, initially, when they first got
this here, I thought this was interesting, and this is your baby, but I thought you'd get a kick out of this. Because of Animal House fame, and again, there's no proof to any of this. This is people speculating. A lot of people said that Donald Sutherland was gonna play your can I please see the storage facility?
Walter Peck? Yeah, that would have been really crazy. So yeah, I don't.
And you also have to realize this thing would have came out in like 81 or 82 as opposed to 84, which would have made it a different film, I
think it would have been raunchier, and honestly, with that cast versus the one that they ended up getting, which is still, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't change it for the world, but yeah, sure. You have Eddie and John Kent. That would have been the funniest, raunchiest movie of all time. Like, that would have been the number one for everybody. I'm kind of glad that it didn't happen, because then it would be like the Star Wars of comedy. Like, everybody would like it,
Actually, I don't know. If you think about it like that, I think it would have, and it would have been kind of cool. I think it would have been more of a niche thing like My Thrash. I think it would have bombed, and I think it would have been so weird with John in it, and it would have just been insane, and you probably would be obsessed with it, and people would just think you're insane.
Not bad.
But it wouldn't be like this pop thing. It wouldn't be this, like a pop culture thing. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Like I said, I'm not even knocking it for what it is. I'm just saying it would have been interesting, because I think it would have been more like Blues Brothers, where it would have been it was
more
serious,
but
it was comedic.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, I have literally just rediscovered Blues Brothers, and it's goddamn hilarious. I don't know if I told you this. I got it on 4K, and it's fucking rad. There's an unrated version of it in there, which I've never seen before.
Huh. Well, there's
it's just good.
What did I have pulled up here? Something with this director, I think.
And it's in a sexy steelbook when I got to.
Nice. What was it? Let's pull him up. Robert Harmon.
You guys have to realize out there, so Corey went to this, just to tell the story super quick and get off this, but he met Dan Aykroyd, and I'm still, it's not even a Ghostbusters thing for me. Like, I'll sit and watch Blues Brothers, and the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, cool, we met him, it's cool. It's like, it's just because Blues Brothers and fucking Dragnet are my two go-to Aykroyd films.
Yeah.
And of course, Dr. Detroit, which I think I introduced you to. I can't remember.
You did.
Anyway, but
you did.
I love him in some of these roles, and he's honestly just genius. And people bring up to me like Coneheads, and Coneheads is a fun movie, but dude, if we're talking like strict comedy, nothing touches fucking Blues Brothers and Dragnet and fucking goddamn Dr. Detroit for me. And of course Ghostbusters, he's great in those movies, but it's just, he said, I just can't believe you. So I'm more starstruck by the fact that you met him through some of the other shit he's done, because I'm telling you, years and years ago when I was living with Holly in like the mid-90s, I remember her and I watching Dragnet like all the time, because it's only one of the only VHS tapes I owned, that and Conan the Barbarian. We would just watch those and fuck. So I've seen Dragnet like a million times, and it's so weird to me that you fucking met Joe Friday. It's just like, man, it's fucking rad.
Now, there's the tie I was thinking, and it's really weird.
Your Whoopi experience is its own thing.
Yeah. I can see that.
Like, if we had been standing there, like if I was with you when you met him, and you had told him secretly that I love that, and I was walking, and he was just like, he just stops me or something, he like stops me and just goes, my hat was in that car, or just anything from there, I would probably lose my shit.
Yeah, that's still surreal. That's like, you know, out of all the things you can think of as an achievement for an average people, that was the single greatest moment of my entire life.
Yeah, he's a movie star. I mean, it's not like...
That is my number one hero besides Mark Hamill on this planet. Like, that's Ray Stantz. That's like my...
No, it's rad.
That's it.
What I'm telling you, though, is it's bigger than I think you're even comprehending from my standpoint, because...
Oh, yeah, I mean, you know, Blues Brothers is insane. It's huge.
There's only one movie star I've met. That is a movie star that you met. That guy is a legitimate Hollywood movie star.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have never met anybody like that. You're not going to go to a horror convention and meet a movie star. I mean, the only movie star I have ever met was Tom Cruise. That is a fucking movie star.
Yes, it is.
I don't think people realize the difference between meeting a celebrity, a sports star, some hack at a horror convention, or an actual movie star. And I'm not saying going to a horror convention isn't fun and meeting those people isn't fun, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when I'm sitting here drunk watching Blues Brothers, that's a fucking movie star you met. That's not just... I know it's Ray Stantz, Steven's childhood hero. I'm not trying to duke on that, but I'm telling you, it's also a goddamn movie star. This is a legitimate working movie star.
Yeah.
This isn't some fucking, you know, I'm in fucking Friday 13th Part 20. It's like, whatever. You're not a movie star. This guy is a movie star.
Yeah. And also, he's somebody who can...
he's smirking in your photo, which is funny, too. And every time I look at it, I'm like, Jesus, that's insane. Because it's, I mean, that's fucking...
I'm the only one that got that, because I looked everyone up, like, man. It took every nerve in my body. Because, you know, he was doing, like, a signing outside or whatever. I was waiting in line for, like, ever... Because, you know, if you get a certain tier thing for your package or whatever, your ticket, you get him and you get the other people free, it's included. So I finally, you know, I was like, oh shit, he's fucking right there, you know. And, you know, he has free prints up there, and the print was, you know, Ray Stantz one, of course, and Ghostbusters Convention. It was super awesome, so I got that. I was kind of just blabbing to him for like a split second, and then I was like, is there any way I can get like a selfie with you? It would make my whole shit year. Like, it would make it all worth it. And he was just like, come over here. I was like, oh my god. And he leaned in for the picture. He was like, enjoy your time in LA, my friend. And I was like, I'm not gonna lie.
He's a movie star.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. As soon as I walked off, I almost fell on the ground. I just started crying. Like, it was the coolest thing ever. It was awesome. It was just overwhelming.
Yeah, because he was nice to you, and he's a movie star. This is not some hack at a fucking redneck convention. That is a fucking... I don't think... And you, people listening out there, you have to legitimately realize this is not... You know, and nothing against Bill Murray and nothing against the rest of the cast of that film, because if you'd met, honestly, to me, the other big movie star in that movie is Ramis.
Yeah, and I wish I could have, you know.
Because that is a legitimate Hollywood movie star. Because here's the thing, Bill Murray, he takes pictures of people and he talks to people on the street, whatever, and I'm not trying to duke on that. If you ever get to me, it would be rad. But here's the thing. When I really started thinking about the fact that you've met Dan Aykroyd, I mean, that's something I can name drop to people. Say, like, oh, it's met Dan Aykroyd. Really? Yeah. This is insane. Because he's a movie star.
Oh, you're dumbfounded.
Bill Murray's not so much a movie star. I mean, he's been in stuff, but those weren't like blockbusters. Like, everybody knows what the fucking Blues Brothers is. It's fucking Dan Aykroyd. You met a fucking movie star.
I mean, honestly, the most famous thing Bill Murray did was...
And it's also, look, and here's the other thing. Bill Murray is not considered SNL royalty over Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd is SNL royalty.
Yeah.
That's like Steve Martin shit. Like, I cannot believe you met Dan Aykroyd. Like, I'm still...
I remember, like, it was you know, I sent you the picture, and you didn't know what you... Because, you know, I went to the convention.
I could not tell who it was.
You're like, that's fucking Dan Aykroyd. And then I remember, like, a few weeks later or something, I put it as my Facebook picture. I freaked
out on you.
And you did it again. You were like, that's fucking Dan Aykroyd. I was like, yeah, I know. The cool thing was I met him twice, because I got a photo op with him in the cast, too, and he's just got his sunglasses. He's just not even looking at the camera. It's fucking hilarious. But then after that, I actually met him in person, like, just me and him, and it was crazy, and... something that, you know...
What I'm saying, though, is most people, you know, and look, and you're a person that goes to conventions and stuff, and now you've got me going to Horror Hound, which we love, but...
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to take anything away from that or anybody listening to us right now, but you have to realize the difference between meeting an actor, a genre actor, or just you know, someone like me meeting William Shatner is just like, yeah, it's cool, and it's cool, but it's not a movie star. And Dan Aykroyd is a fucking movie star.
Yeah.
And I love William Shatner. It's probably the coolest thing I've ever done besides meeting Tom Cruise. But all of my Star Trek stuff is. But again, they're not really movie stars. What I'm saying though is he's a TV icon, Shatner, but he's not a movie star. Dan Aykroyd is a fucking movie star. I mean, I remember going to the theater and watching fucking Dr. Detroit with my uncle, Blues Brothers as a kid. And I mean, I was like really young and saw that at like a drive-in.
Like Harrison Ford. You know, Harrison Ford's a fucking movie star.
Is a fucking movie star. Roger Moore was a fucking... Sean Connery's a fucking movie star.
Yeah. Oh, there's a dog just eating this dude. That's fucking wonderful.
I mean, it's more over than even I can explain to you, but it's really cool, man. Like I said, you know, there's a difference between meeting, you know, I mean, even Schwarzenegger at a convention would be cool, but he's not a movie star. Do you know what I mean? Aykroyd to me is like larger than life movie star. Like this guy was in these $1 million productions. I mean, he worked with Tom Hanks for God's sakes, and fucking.
Well, I mean that puts Schwarzenegger in there. I mean, Jesus Christ, that's
not over Dan. No,
he's different because he's not a movie star. He's an action star.
But see, Schwarzenegger's not a movie star.
He's an action star.
He's just an action guy. That's what I'm saying. Even Stallone, like, it's cool, but it's still not over that. It's a guy's a movie star. That's what I'm saying. Like follow with me on this just a second, because I'm going somewhere with this. If you meet Clint Eastwood, that's a fucking movie star.
Yeah.
That's over Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford's just some hack that's in these fucking movies. Everybody looks cool, but Clint Eastwood is a goddamn movie star.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is a goddamn movie star. These guys are not going to be at some fucking redneck convention. That's what I'm saying. Dan Aykroyd wouldn't be at a redneck convention. He met a fucking movie star. Schwarzenegger going to Texas Frightmare, that's great. It's still just a redneck cousin fucker convention. I'm just saying, nothing against Texas Frightmare. I'm just saying in general, you're still just you're paying to these fucking lowbrow white trash wanting to meet fucking horror people, and it's like Schwarzenegger. And I love Arnold, but that's not the point. But he's not a movie star. What I'm saying is, you met a fucking like Hollywood Walk of Fame movie star.
Yeah.
Like when he dies, he's gonna have this giant mausoleum. Like he's a fucking Hollywood movie star, and he's Canadian, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, There's a difference between that and you meeting Clive Barker. Yeah, you met Clive Barker, and that's awesome, and he was nice, and he did the horns, and I think that's awesome, and hopefully he's in good health.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me there's not a difference between meeting Clive Barker and Stephen King. Stephen King is a fucking icon.
Yeah.
You know, and we talked about this privately when we weren't recording, and I'm just saying, giving a shout out to my boy here, folks. This guy met not only his hero, but the guy's a fucking movie star. This guy doesn't do fucking cousin fucker convention off Highway 81. This guy's a fucking movie star. And you went the distance, and you met him, in his own stomping grounds, and the motherfucker, that's just amazing. It's a great story.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Every time you doubt anything in your life, just look at that. I mean, I don't even have that. I don't even have proof that I met Tom Cruise, but you met Dan. It's fucking rad, dude.
Yeah.
You know, somebody meets somebody that's a movie star. There's a difference, and you know, if people don't understand that out there. Robert Englund is not a movie star. Robert Englund's a horror actor in a genre film and was a TV actor. I love him, but he's not a fucking movie star.
Yeah.
You know? Movie star is fucking, you know, it's something iconic. It's something you would never in a million years, you know. It's somebody in a million years you would never meet. Robert Downey Jr. is a fucking movie star.
Yeah.
That's why you're not going to meet Robert Downey Jr. at fucking Joe Blow's fucking horror convention. Because he doesn't fucking do it. You know.
He's too busy making movies.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's a difference between, and you know, people can get mad at me for saying this stuff, but it's the fucking truth, you know? These other people are just, I mean, it's well, okay, let me give you an example. We're going to go back to Horror Hound 2019, kids, and then I'm going to get off this rant. I'm starting watching Hitcher. I'm fucking rambling today. I'm in a good mood, but I want to make one more point. When we were at fucking Horror Hound, okay, Tony Todd was the coolest, right?
Yeah.
You know what Tom Atkins is? He's a fucking genre fucking legendary actor, right?
Yep.
But Dan Aykroyd's a fucking movie star.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, there's a difference. Christopher Lloyd, he's been in some great stuff. He's iconic roles. He was in Taxi, which is my favorite role that he ever did was Jim. And of course, he was Dr. Emmett Brown in Back to the Future stuff. But he's not a movie star. He's just an actor.
Yeah.
You know. Now, Michael J. Fox been there. That's a goddamn movie star.
Yes, it is. He is.
Michael J. Fox is a goddamn movie star. He may not be now. He was.
Fucking Teen Wolf.
That guy was a fucking movie star.
Yeah.
There's a difference, and if people can't accept that or get that in their brain, then they just, like, I love Jean-Claude Van Damme, but he's not a movie star.
No, he's an action
just
star.
An action dude.
Action star.
I love him, and I would lose my shit if I met him, more so than, honestly, even Schwarzenegger, because I was obsessed with Van Damme as a kid. Like Bloodsport, I get teared up watching that motherfucker. It's stupid.
You know, Bloodsport, you just saw some blood fountain out of his fucking throat hole. Hauer's back. I love that truck too. I think it's a Dodge, like Ram Charger, I think it was called. That truck that he drives.
Harrison Ford doesn't do conventions. He's more of like an obscure movie star, kind of like Connery, because Connery always avoided that shit too. You know, people come up to me like, "Oh, I met Mark Hamill." It's like, well, Mark Hamill's done conventions, you know.
Yeah, he's not a movie star.
You know who was a movie star? You know who the movie star was from the original Star Wars franchise? Carrie Fisher was a goddamn movie star.
Yeah, and fucking...
You know why? Because she's in goddamn The Burbs. She's in goddamn Blues Brothers. She's in everything.
Peter Cushing.
Fucking legitimate movie star.
Peter Cushing, too. Definite.
Oh, dude, are you kidding me?
That's not even just movie star. He's actually above that. He's
Christopher Lee's the same thing. And that's why they never did those goddamn conventions, because they're fucking movie stars. Movie stars. Vincent Price was a fucking movie star. Vincent Price was not a goddamn B actor. He was a fucking movie star. Johnny Depp. There you go. You meet Johnny Depp. Anybody out there listening, if you ever meet Johnny Depp, send the photo to us. We'd love to see it. If you ever meet Johnny Depp, that's a goddamn movie star.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp ain't going to be at fucking, you know, Jimmy Joe Bob's horror convention off Route 66, he ain't gonna be there.
Kurt Russell.
Because absolutely. But moreover, Kurt, and I love Kurt, but Johnny Depp is a fucking movie star.
Oh yeah, dude's fucking huge.
I'm trying to think, the dude, you play something when you do, and it has nothing to do with it. Mark Hamill's done some iconic stuff, but Mark Hamill you could still meet at a convention. It's not a movie star, Dan's a movie star. Bill Murray is a movie star. If you met Bill Murray, you met a movie star. These are the same. Eddie Murphy is a movie star. He's not going to be at Jimmy Cornfucker's fucking horror convention off Route 18 because Eddie Murphy doesn't do that because he's a fucking movie star. That's what I'm saying. There's a difference between, and we've never talked about this in the podcast, and I'm sorry I'm rambling on, shut up about it. We've got to do our Back to the Future rewind stuff, all that stuff. But I'm just saying, if you go out and you meet somebody, and I'm not trying to degrade anybody meeting anybody that they love in life, it's great. But to me, there's a difference between meeting David Cronenberg at a horror convention and drinking a beer with Stephen King. There's a total difference. And sir, what you did with Dan Aykroyd, movie star, mad props from me. That is and I know the Ghostbusters use where it resonates since your childhood and gets you a little boner and you run around in your jammies, and I get it. But I'm just saying, for me, it's the other stuff that he's in. I mean, honestly, and I'm not just saying this because of this podcast or that Corey's my friend. Like, I literally, when I realized who that was, the rest of that day, I was like, oh, that's fucking insane. That's cool. Yeah. Because these people are larger than life to me because I love movies, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm shutting up, sorry.
This was a weird parallel.
Patrick Swayze was a goddamn movie star. There you go.
Goddamn right. This is a weird parallel
Rutger Hauer,
when you were
movie star. Rutger Hauer, movie star.
Damn right he was.
He told us how you can meet at the horror convention off Route 66. He does those.
Yep, he sure does. What I was saying was there was a weird parallel when you were talking about the Blues Brothers, like at the beginning of this conversation. The director, that did this. What the fuck his name is? Robert Harmon. He did a short film that was right before he did this. This was his directorial debut. He did a short film called China Lake, which is about a deranged police officer who rides around on a motorbike targeting people that have offended him in some way while vacationing near the film's tutelar location of China Lake. Well, the cool thing is that deranged police officer is Charles Napier, which is the correlation here. That goes in the Blues Brothers, which is fucking nasty. So that's what I was thinking, because he's Tucker McElroy in that film.
That's awesome.
Which was, that was 1980, so this is only 3 years later. He did China Lake with the director of this film. Of course, he was also fucking Marshall Murdoch in First Blood Part 2. So I don't know why I just brought that up, but I just think it's cool that he was in it.
Wait, the guy that directed this was Murdoch in First Blood Part 2?
No, the guy that directed this, he did a short film prior to this. This was his directorial.
Oh, the cop was the dude that played Murdoch.
Yeah, the cop that was in...
That guy's a great actor. That guy's a TV actor. He's been on like A-Team and fucking Incredible Hulk and all kinds of good shit I grew up with.
And he's also a Maniac Cop too. He's Lou Brady, and he's Lieutenant Boyle in Silence of the Lambs.
Yes, he is Lieutenant Boyle in Silence, because fucking the whole movie, Lecter's wanted to kill his ass.
Yep, and he's a police officer and a cable guy, and he's Three Ninjas Knuckle Up. He's in that.
Anyway, I'm sorry for the rant about everything I said, but I'm telling you guys out there, if you're a fan of this stuff, if you're a fan of just movies in general like we are, there is a fucking difference. And I've met some great B actors, but I'm telling you, there's a legitimate difference between meeting an actor and a fucking movie star.
That says how old that the Goods movie is, because he's Dick in that movie, which is my favorite part of that film.
That's right. He's fucking rad in that movie.
He died like a few years after that, because I didn't realize that film came out in 2009. That's like the year I fucking graduated. Well, I didn't graduate, I got my diploma years later, but my graduating class year was 2009, that's how old The Goods is. And I literally, because that film's not on Blu-ray, if you guys have never seen The Goods, Live Hard, Sell Hard, or whatever, it's just like a comedy car salesman movie that me and the doctor both
You've never done our sample from that. You need to still rip that thing, you know what I'm talking about, without giving it out on here and put it in some...
Yeah, it was on the other intro, I just forgot to keep it in this one. Because it's on one of our seasons. It's on whatever. Sell the metal.
Right.
But that film is from 2009 and there's still no Blu-ray of it. The copy I have on DVD is a Blockbuster copy. Like it's the Blockbuster case with like the little rental barcode and everything. The DVD. And sometimes here and there it's streaming on stuff. Like I think it's on Hulu. Right now, but it fluctuates between that and Netflix and other shit and Amazon, so like it's on one of them and it's worth watching. It's just fucking funny.
Is it weird that when I look at C. Thomas Howell in this film, I think he would have been a good Peter Parker back in the 80s?
Oh, totally. He just had the look, man. I think actually he would have made a good Eddie Brock, to be honest with you.
Okay.
He looks...
You're predating Eddie Brock now. Eddie Brock didn't come out till like years after this.
Right, I'm just saying he looks like Eddie Brock kind of.
He'd been too old then when I'm saying that.
Yeah.
He'd been good Peter Parker.
Yeah, you're right. But they literally haven't done any of that right until now, so they didn't know how to do it back then. I mean, the Superman movies were rad.
Unfortunately, which is why I've been swimming in it as an adult, which people still don't understand that.
Yeah, they just finally got it right for like the last 10 years, and that's like the only, and they've been doing it since, the early 2000s, when the X-Men and all that stuff, and even when Blade came out in like, I think 99 or something, that was actually good, but it wasn't like a comic book movie, Blade's a comic book character, but that's just like a straight up just, it just doesn't ever seem like it was a part of it, because it didn't have a universe. It was just Blade doing its thing, and it was great.
I'm already taking a peek here at the albums from '86. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, of course, it's one we've done a lot, but it doesn't matter. '86 is one of the best years ever for anything. It was a great, perfect year, like movies in it and everything. And by the way, I do want to shout out to Jennifer Jason Leigh. I fucking love her in Fast Times. That's all I can think about when I see her. Even though she's kind of a...
and her dad was Vic Morrow that died making the Twilight Zone movie.
Really?
Yeah, he's the bigot.
Huh.
In the Twilight Zone movie. So, he died, and she won't even talk about her dad dying in that film. If you ever try to see an interview or talk to her about that, she gets fucking pissed.
Well, yeah, I don't blame her. Well, so we can cue up Chuck here, and we will do Altering the Future.
Altering the Future!
Take you back to when our feature film came out, 1986. I always cover what other movies were out at the same year, and kind of take you back to the time when this came out. And the doctor covers the music. So, 86, we've done a lot. I'm sure if you guys listen to us all the time, you're gonna hear some of the stuff that we've done on here. A lot of stuff we haven't done. A lot of stuff we never will. A lot of whatever. Try to just list all the notable ones here, and I'm just gonna be quick about it because we've done it a million times. Let's see here. Got Platoon. Got Delta Force. We got Cobra. We got Manhunter. Let's see. Psycho 3. April Fool's Day. I'm just gonna go all over the place here and not even save the horror. Blue Velvet, one of my favorite films ever. Thank you, Doctor, for showing that to me. You got Troll. You got Dragon Ball, the original film before it became an anime, I believe. The My My Little Pony movie, for all you furries out there, whatever the fuck you do. Disgusting motherfuckers, but whatever. If you like it, you like it. Golden Child, Eddie Murphy. Howard the Duck, which is a turd. Labyrinth, which I can't deal with, but I get it. A lot of people like it. I actually own it on Blu-ray, but that's besides the point.
Travis' haircut. Dance, magic, dance. Dance, magic, dance.
Another anime movie, you got Castle in the Sky. I don't remember if that's a Ghibli film or not. Highlander, another one of my favorite movies.
That is a very emotional film for me because of my past friend.
It is. An American Tale. You got Transformers, the movie. Shout out to Raw Somatic Exhumed. One of my favorite movies as a kid, Adventures of Milo and Otis. I used to have that on VHS. I watched it like a trillion times when I was little. Great Mouse Detective, one of the best and most underrated Disney movies of all time. Pirates, Walter Matthau, it's Roman Polanski. Got The Quest. Let's see. That's a weird one. I don't know why I even mentioned that. I'm trying to get off of here. Fuck. Okay. Maybe. Maybe not. My phone's doing something stupid. Okay, here we go. We're getting some good
here's the
shit.
interesting thing, kids. Will Corey fuck up or get right my favorite film from '86?
I might get it right. I've done this before, so hopefully.
Now, you could do it genre-wise. You could pick both of them.
Yeah. I'm going to try. We're getting there. Little Shop of Horrors, Crocodile...
There's two.
Little Shop of Horrors, Crocodile Dundee, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Night of the Creeps, The Money Pit, Back to School.
Back to School is a great fucking movie.
Yes, it is. I just watched it like a couple weeks ago again. Down and Out Beverly Hills.
It's a good movie.
Pretty in Pink, Police Academy 3, Three Amigos. I know that's one of your favorites. Short Circuit.
Three Amigos is not one of my favorite films. I did not like that movie.
I thought you liked that movie.
No, I do not. I despise that film.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
I fucking hate Martin Short. I don't like Martin Short in anything.
Class of...
Except Tekken Ron. Tekken Ron is an exception to that rule.
See, Class of Nukem High. Let's see. Critters, Running Scared, Vamp.
Love Wrestler, I love Vamp. That movie's great.
Yeah.
Grace Jones, fantastic movie.
From Beyond.
Love it.
The Voyage Home.
Love it.
We got Critters. Maximum Overdrive.
Love
it. This is definitely your favorite, The Fly. Poltergeist 2, Aliens, Friday 13th, Part 6.
Poltergeist 2, I love.
It is great. Friday 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Part 2. At Close Range, Sean Penn, Christopher Walken.
That's a fucking awesome movie.
It is awesome. You talk about HBO.
On Blu-ray, I love that movie.
Talk about HBO. That's one of those movies I saw when I was little. Watch it every fucking night, and that movie came on a lot when I was younger. Chopping Mall. And let's see. If Dead End Drive-In, Raw Deal. What else am I forgetting here?
Raw Deal was a fantastic movie.
I'm going to see if there's the two, and they're right beside each other here. I'm hoping that I'm right. Your two favorites of this year. The Wraith.
That's an honorable mention compared to these other two. It is a great guess, and I do love that movie. And it's
well, one...
right there, but it's right below the two that I'm talking about.
Well, Big Trouble's one of them.
That is incorrect.
Big Trouble in Little China.
That is incorrect.
Top Gun.
That is incorrect.
I
love both those movies, but neither of those touch these movies.
Is it horror? Because I don't even have a full list here then.
It's Trick or Treat and Thrashing.
Oh yeah, Thrashing's 86, you're right. I don't have a complete list here of all this stuff.
Trick or Treat and Thrashing are my two favorite movies from 86.
Makes sense. See, if I would have clicked on this list, it was Slaughter Hyde.
Trick or Treat, not that bar treat anthology piece of shit that everybody on the planet likes but me.
Slaughter Hyde, Deadly Friend.
Stupid. Even though I don't like that movie, needs to be hit in the face with my dick. The movie's stupid.
Rawhead Rex, Demons 2. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on here. I had the short list. So yeah. Solid. Do the music. I will see if you can name my two favorites.
I'm going to do this real quick. Let's see. Juice Priest Turbo, which I know you love. Your Final Countdown, which I love.
Oh, yeah.
I know Corey is not a huge fan of any of this stuff, but I have to mention this record, although I'm not meaning anything by it when I mention it, which there's an inside joke about this album between me and Corey. It's not even a funny joke, it's actually very morbid, but Accept Russian Roulette, great album.
It is.
Love it.
Inside joke, not so great, but yeah, it's good album.
Inside the Electric Circus from Wasp.
It's my favorite Wasp album.
True as Steel from Warlock, Night Songs from Cinderella, Constrictor from Alice Cooper, Eat 'em and Smile, first solo album from David Lee Roth after he left Van Halen. Dancing Undercover from Rat. Rat is my favorite hair band.
It's good stuff.
5150 from Van Halen. Hell with the Devil from Stryper.
Love it.
Look with the Cat Dragged In for Poison. I know this is weird, but this is stuff I grew up with.
No, it's good
Orange
shit.
Relay from St. Vitus. Obsessed by Cruelty from Sodom. Supposedly we have a Sodom guest coming on. I'm supposed to interview, I think.
We'll see.
Onslaught, The Force. That singer was a complete tool to me. Debut album from Crimson Glory. That's some early power metal from Florida, who I love. Crimson Glory. Rest in peace to those gentlemen that have passed from that band. Game Over from Nuclear Assault. Slippery When Wet from Van Halen. 7 Stars from Black Sabbath. One Foot in Hell from Sirith Ungol. Other people don't like that band. I've always kind of liked them. My uncle likes that band. They're kind of Beyond the Gates from Possessed, which is one of my favorite things from that year. Trilogy from Yngwie Malmsteen. Pleasure to Kill from Creator. Eternal Devastation from Destruction. I Against I from Bad Brains, which is a great punk album.
Yeah.
Ultimate Sin, which is my favorite Ozzy album.
Mine too.
The Dulge from Manila Road, which is another really underrated metal band. Manila Road's put out some pretty good shit. Darkness Descends from Dark Angel, such a great album.
Really good.
Rage for Order, one of my favorite Queensrÿche albums. Orgasmatron, which is Corey's favorite Motorhead album.
Sure is.
Awaken the Guardian from Fate's Warning. The Dark from Metal Church. Roar from Voivod. Morbid Visions from Sepultura. Doomsday for the Deceiver from Flotsam and Jetsam. Somewhere in Time from Iron Maiden. Rain and Blood from Slayer. A Fatal Portrait from King Diamond. Master of Puppets from Metallica. And then Peace Sells With Who's Bond from Megadeth. And that's it.
All just classic stuff. Some of my favorite albums from all those artists too. Like, it's just a good year, man. That's why I like doing Back to the Future. You know, Back to the Future. You got me saying it. Go back to altering the future.
Anyway, sorry.
That's what you start playing that. But yeah, and Altering the Future, it's cool to go back and, of course I wasn't born in 86, the doctor can really go back and reminisce about all this stuff, but it's cool to go back.
And that's why I mentioned the hairband stuff. I'm not trying to promote that stuff on here. I grew up with it, that stuff existed. It's nostalgic for me, and I like some of that stuff.
But still, going to it and kind of seeing what this actual, the time frame, like, it's cool to go back and look at this stuff and really see what was out and the influence. And I mean, when you have 1 year where you can have Big Trouble in Little China, even Crocodile Dundee, Or even like, Night of the Creeps, Ferris Bueller, or whatever. And then you can go into the record store and you can pick up fucking Peace Cells or Orgasmatron or goddamn, it's ridiculous. It was going back
like I said, I wasn't trying to duke on The Wraith, and also wasn't trying to duke on Big Trouble, but to me, if I'm being honest, the Trick or Treat and fucking...
Well, yeah, if I had that on the list, that's what I would have went with. I didn't even see that on there. I should know by now that we did Trick or Treat before, but...
Thrashing's my jam.
Yeah, and if I saw that, I would have known that, but I didn't know that was 86. It didn't come up on the list.
I don't have a Ghostbusters film per se, but that one's up there, man. That's a movie that I adore.
Yeah.
And Corey's never seen it, which is hilarious. And we've been in this podcast for 5
I still haven't seen it. No, I haven't. I have to rip it.
I think we're going to have to do that for Godless Heathens.
Yeah, I mean, it's not on anything, so I don't ever see it to watch it.
It is not on anything. And the Blu-ray I have, I'll tell you a funny story about that Blu-ray. Olive Films put it out, and I found another copy of it for like $5 on eBay, believe it or not. Like some seller was just trying to get rid of his Blu-ray, and I owned like a sealed copy of it too, just for like the apocalypse.
Another thing Olive Films put out, and it's one of my favorite movies, is Dirty Work. That Blu-ray is an Olive Films Blu-ray. It's the only Olive Films thing I own, I think, is that Blu-ray.
Well, the cool thing, I know you love that movie. The cool thing about, I like already liking that movie, but what I was going to say is, my favorite thing about Thrashing is Robert Russell and fucking, and Josh Brolin. And everybody likes Josh Brolin from Goonies, and I'm like, maybe you never seen Thrashing because it's so much better,
Yeah.
You've got my favorite vampire from Lost Boys in it, rest in peace. And you've got fucking all these other cool guys, and it's got some of the best lines of any movie in the world. Like, Corey Webster is Brolin's character, and they're about to go into this party where the Red Hot Chili Peppers are playing when they were still like a funk, like punk band. And they're about to go in there, and there's one of the characters' name is Radley, and he's just like, the dude from Lost Boys is like, he's just like, hey Radley, give me some of that jet fuel. They're like sneaking airplane bottles in. It's just a great movie.
Yeah.
It's so good. I used to watch it on Up All Night with fucking Elvira on USA Network, and fucking it was the coolest thing in the world seeing that movie. And she loved it. She's like, this is so much fun. I can't even make fun of it. I'm just like, this is so good, awesome. But I'll tell you guys right now, I have completely, even though I've never met him in person, I have completely fanboyed Robert Russell about that movie, like to the point where, like, I'm not even joking, like, on my birthday, every year, he's never missed a year since I've been friends with him since like 2012 on Facebook, he will literally send me some kind of happy birthday from Hook and the Daggers. I'm just like, this is just awesome. It's like my own little thing too. And I'll tell you what, if that movie ever got some kind of commercial hipster thing, I would literally probably murder everyone.
Yeah.
Because it's like my own little thing. And the people that love it, I'm fine with it. The people that know what it is, but people don't know what that means, and it's so good.
It's good to have
all
that
these
stuff.
awesome pro skaters in it, like Tony Hawk's in that movie, and Lance Mountain, and Christian Hosoi, and fucking Bill Danforth, and all these skateboarders that I grew up with. So it's just a fun nostalgia piece for me. So, but
yeah.
86, and I love The Wraith. Man, The Wraith is one of my favorite movies, and so is Big Trouble. But those two fall just shy of Trick or Treat and fucking, and nothing touches Thrashing, and Thrashing's my shit.
Yeah. Well, I said, it's...
I don't care if it's a fucking horror movie. It's a great fucking film. It's
it's good to have that stuff, and just whatever hits you the hardest and scratches that itch, and, something you can always go back to.
I was into skateboarding, so that movie was around, and I loved it, It is what it is.
And when people don't really know, I mean, you can make lists, but everybody has, like, something they hold dearest to them, like as a film or an album, and...
But it doesn't mean that I don't love The Wraith. The Wraith.
I know, but here's...
Wraith, now, I will say this. Give me The Wraith all day long over Big Trouble. The Wraith is a very special film to me.
Yeah. But,
it always will be.
You know, some things your absolute favorite, 'cause a lot of people, like, you know, sometimes I'm bad about making lists if somebody puts me on the spot, like, oh, what's your favorite? But since I was, like 2 or 3, you know, somebody could be like, what's your favorite movie? It's like Ghostbusters. You know, I've always known that. It's always been my favorite movie. And, like, it's a movie I can put on right now. And I want, like, I feel comfortable. I can watch it. I'll never get tired of it. It's just something I can watch, like, 3 times a day if I needed to, you know. And I feel like Thrashing's the same way for you. You can just put that on any time of day and just fucking watch it. It chills you out. It's perfect movie.
You know, not really. It's not. It's actually not. I don't have a favorite film. That's what I'm saying. So the definitive list would be The Wraith is third, Thrashing's, and Trick or Treat are tied for, like, 1. Because Trick or Treat I love. But I have to be in a mood to watch those films, you know. But, like, Sammy Kerr is probably arguably my favorite horror villain ever, like, even more than Michael Myers or, like, Jason Voorhees or something. Like, for some people, like, my favorite is honestly Sammy Kerr. I actually get really pissed off when these, like, fan people try to act like they're some, like, huge fan of that movie and they're, like, 10 years old. It's like, fuck off. Like, I saw that movie at the theater. Like, I literally love that movie. Like, a lot. Like, I think that movie is so good. Like, I love Gene Simmons in it. I love everything about that movie. So that one's right up there with Thrash. And like I said, it falls to number 3. But so you have Trick or Treat and Thrash and tied at 1, and it falls to 3. And Big Trouble's probably somewhere in there. It's like 4 or 5 or 6. It's somewhere in there. Like, I love it, but it doesn't touch those other movies. Like, I love it, and I love John Carpenter, but it does not touch those. It's Big Trouble is a special film to me, and it's arguably probably my favorite Carpenter thing, but it does not touch those others. Those others are so nostalgic for me because I used to rent them on VHS and just over and over and over again. Whereas Big Trouble, I saw in the theater, and you could always rent it. There was always a copy there to rent. It wasn't like it was hard to get it, you know.
Yeah.
But more obscure stuff as I got older, especially now, like, those movies are really near and dear to me, but I can't put them on. The biggest comparison I could give you to, like, a whoopee like you have Ghostbusters would be watching Saved by the Bell. As embarrassing as it is, it's the truth. Like, I could put that on, you could tell me the world's end. I'm like, I'm okay.
That's good, though, whatever it is. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a favorite movie.
Saved by the Bell. I mean, but like, that's what I'm saying. I'm too complicated to just have, of an individual emotionally, to just have one thing, like, you know.
Well, it's not one. I have multiple things, but I mean,
make fun of me for that, and then, you know, that's why I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because it was like Saved by the Bell with vampires in it. Like, it's cheesy, but it was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's a lot of stuff that I love. A lot of people don't realize how much I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like, I love that shit. Like, I love that show.
It's good shit.
There's a lot of things that I'm really into that I can watch. Like, I love the Munsters. Like, I watch the Munsters a lot. Especially this time of year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But there's a lot of things that I love. And you know what? Like I said, I hate Rob Zombie, but, like, you know, but his fandom for the Munsters is just awesome. Like, he's obsessed with it, like I am Saved by the Bell. Like, it's just hilarious to me. He's sitting there on that fucking Screen Factory fucking Munster Go Home Blu-ray. He's literally recorded a fucking commentary track, which is priceless. It's him and fucking the kid that plays Butch.
Butch Patrick.
Correct.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm fucking... But whatever, they're, like, drunk watching that movie, and it's fucking hilarious. It's actually the coolest thing Rob Zombie's ever done in his life, because he's just a complete dork on that, and it's actually really cool that he's so into that show. It actually made me like it. Like I said, there's things I just despise, but it's actually, if you guys are a fan of his, you should really watch that Blu-ray, even if you don't even like the Munsters, just to listen to him geek out. Like, he is freaking out watching that. He's so fucking cool. And you remember when you did this? And Fred Gwynn was on? It's just neat. It's neat to hear someone that's legitimately passionate about something. I don't think I've ever heard him passionate about anything in an interview. He is passionate about the fucking Munsters, and it's actually cute. Like, it literally makes... I honestly think it would be a talking point if you ever had me interview that dude. Like, because I could just talk to him about the whole time. Like, he legitimately is obsessed with it. Like you are Ghostbusters. It's actually funny. You know, like, but it's relatable to me because I think the Munsters are cool because I grew up with that. Although my favorite show growing up like that when I was a child was Happy Days.
Oh, yeah.
Which I want to thank Truly Alcohol for ruining the fucking theme song for Happy Days, where they've turned it into this fucking, like, trance hip-hop song tongue to sell their stupid alcohol.
I'm thankful I've never seen that.
It's atrocious, but you know, everybody's going to have nostalgia pieces. Like Happy Days, that's another one you could put that on.
Yeah, I watched that a lot when I was little.
Put that on, chill me out.
Happy Days.
Star Trek, put that on, chill me out. Like OG Star Trek.
Yeah.
Deep Space Nine doesn't chill me out. It actually stresses me out, but I'm obsessed with it. You know. And something I've never talked about too much on this podcast, I'm a huge Stargate fan, too. I love Stargate SG-1, and I love Stargate Atlantis. I love both of those shows.
Okay.
And it's the reason I hate Supernatural, is because the Supernatural assholes on purpose made that show go longer so they could topple Stargate as the longest running sci-fi show so they can rot in hell. I hate those fucking cocksuckers. I don't have anything against those actors that play in that show, but the guys that created that need to be ball-batted by me. They need a visit from Dr. West in the middle of the night for just taking a dump on Stargate. It's like, really? Well, guess what? I'm going to bring Stargate back with Disney letting me write it. Dr. Vincent West presents Stargate, and I'm going to fucking run it for like 30 years, and you're never going to touch my fucking thing. It'll run even after I'm dead. That's how much of an asshole I am about that. But no, back to Jennifer Jason Leigh, I have something interesting to tell you about her. So when her dad died in that film, you can go back and find footage, and I think this is morbid, of Rod Sterling warning people not to fuck with his shit. There are comments where he's like, don't remake it, I've cursed it, don't ever try to touch my stuff, don't ever mess with any of it again, because it's cursed.
Yeah.
And you know what they did? And if you go look up Twilight Zone the movie and look at all the deaths on the film, maybe they shouldn't have been fucking with it. Because Rod Sterling, a lot of people think, cursed that whole thing.
Which is so weird, isn't it?
Rod Sterling is a genius, because Rod Sterling, a lot of people don't know this, Rod Sterling wrote and mixed the original movie adaptation for Planet of the Apes. That guy was a fucking genius, man.
Yeah.
You know, everybody can make fun of me, oh, Twilight Zone, it's fucking stupid. Actually, it's not.
I love the Twilight Zone, man. All of it.
And he was a fucking genius. And, you know, but I'll tell you guys out there, if you're horror fans and you can't get into Twilight Zone, go on to Amazon Prime and watch The Outer Limits. The Outer Limits ran 2 seasons. That show is the death metal. Like, if the Beatles is the Twilight Zone, then fucking Outer Limits is the death metal genre of the horror sci-fi community back then. That shit is so ahead of its time, and I will highly recommend it to anyone out there right now. If you have Amazon Prime, go watch. Season 2 is okay, but there's only 2 seasons of it. But Season 1 of The Outer Limits, incredible. Incredible hour of television. And a lot of it's horror-based. It's not always sci-fi stuff. So, it's good shit. I actually got Wheelchair Fucker watching it about a year ago, and he's like, man, this show's morbid. I was like, I told you, it's fucking rad. Good stuff. Just some stuff if you're bored and you're quarantining and you're trapped inside, watch you some Outer Limits. Crack you a cold one and watch Outer Limits. I do.
So,
Dr. Vincent West approved.
Jennifer Jason Leigh, I guess, got ripped in half by a truck.
She did.
It's insane.
Sorry, I've been all over the place in this episode. I'm just talking a lot today.
No, that's cool. People are, see, you guys are supposed to be hitting this shit up when we put it on. We're basically your audio commentary, because all we're going to do is rant over it anyway, so if you've ever listened to us before. So if you're surprised by that now, you know, almost 5 years later, it's like, you know, come on. You're supposed to be popping these movies in.
You, seriously, even you, Corey, Outer Limits Season 1.
You know, I feel like I watched it.
Where people fucking took stuff. I mean, even Gene Roddenberry was influenced by that. I mean, Outer Limits was the shit.
I feel like I've watched some of it before,
I'm a
but
Twilight Zone guy. I like Twilight Zone a lot. But here's the thing: but if you watch The Outer Limits, especially Season 1, that shit was so ahead of its time. It's just creepy. I mean, it's fucking. Kino Lorber put those out on Blu-ray. I've got those, and they're just morbid. That show is morbid to watch. And in the 90s, they did a reboot of it. If you grew up with maybe the 90s Outer Limits, and it was shown on Showtime like Stargate SG-1 was initially, you can watch those streaming on Hulu.
I think that's what I've seen as the 90s ones, so that make more sense.
Oh, they're good. Those are great. They've got all-star casts in those. But they're not as good, in my opinion, as... I mean, the fucking original is like groundbreaking shit.
Yeah.
Like Stephen King was upset. A lot of Stephen King's books, he claims, were influenced by watching Outer Limits.
Not surprised.
So... Because, like I said, Outer Limits was the... If Twilight Zone was Metallica, then Outer Limits was Deicide. I mean, it's that much of an extreme difference to it. And it's, like I said, like there was an episode I watched recently where this bee, I love insects.
Yeah.
This bee turns into a human woman and tries to get this dude to fruit her.
Ooh.
I'm telling you, the show is raunchy, dude. But thank God they didn't have the practical effects back then to freak me out too much, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it would be like...
Oh, I know. If Cronenberg had done it, I'd been running out of my fucking house.
He'd be like, here you go, here's my Canadian bee woman. And she's like...
Look, I'm telling you right now, I will say this about Cronenberg. If I ever did meet him, I would be like, dude, you are just a sick individual. Like, you seriously need to be locked up. Like... But you know what I'm excited about, kids? My favorite movie he ever did is coming to Blu-ray in December, and I've already pre-ordered it, and that's Crash from Criterion.
Yeah.
If you have never seen the movie Crash, we will be watching it on Godless Heathens or on here, because I assure you we will be watching that, because I have waited so long to have a Blu-ray of that film. That film is so fucked up. Have you ever seen that, Corey?
Uh-uh.
So the movie... Elias Koteas and I can't think of that one chick's name. She was in Desperately Seeking Susan, Madonna movie. I love Madonna. It's weird, but anyway. But
I do too. She's good.
God, what is her name? Can't think of her name. Anyway, so James Spader is like one of the main actors in it. But the movie is about these couples, like James Spader and his wife actually like having sex with men and women. And they meet Elias Koteas, and he's into the same stuff, but what he wants to do is wreck...
Holly Hunter?
He wants to, like... Yeah, she's in it. Yeah, Holly Hunter's in that, but she wrecks the car. But, like, like, Elias Koteas purposely gets in these car wrecks, and then they have sex with each other. Like, him and James Spader wreck in this car together, and then he fucks James Spader's butthole.
What?
I'm not making this up. Like, this is what goes on in this film. And, like, he'll be driving by, James Spader will be driving by with his wife in a car accident, and she's, like, jacking him off in the car, and she's like, God, I bet everybody in there's injured and hurt. And he's like, I'm gonna come, and, like, I mean, it's like a porno. About people that are into fucking men and women. This is men on men and women on women and men with women and everybody else. And they go and they purposely get these like classic cars and they go total them on the highway. And then they go find the victims in the hospital, and once they're healed, they have sex with them. And I absolutely love the film. Like, most of his stuff I find just completely and totally disturbing. That movie is disturbing, but it's really nasty and it's just hot. It's just good. But I'm telling you, it is very fucked up. There is literally a part where Elias Koteas is plowing James Spader's butthole in the back of a car after they've wrecked it together, which is really weird. And his wife's up front fucking... And then later that night, his wife is fucking James Spader, and she's talking about him fucking Elias Koteas nutting in his butt. Like, I'm not making this up. It's a weird movie, dude. Like, if people have never seen that I will give Cronenberg all the credit in the world for that movie. That movie is fucking disturbing. But I'm not bullshitting you about the content of it. It is weird.
Yeah, and that's all him, too. He wrote and directed and produced that fucking thing. That's his creation.
Here's another thing in that movie. There's another part where James Spader's wife is getting fucked by Elias Koteas, and James Spader's sitting there whacking off, and she's like, God, his scarred cock's inside my butthole.
So that's Deborah Unger is the wife.
I'm just telling you, that movie is fucked up, dude. It is seriously the most disturbing. Okay, let me put it to you like this. That movie makes Blue Velvet seem like a fucking Disney film. As far as the disturbing level of it. Now, it's not as good a film, in my opinion, as Blue Velvet. Blue Velvet's a better film, and it's more fun to watch. But that Crash movie is fucking disturbing.
Sounds pretty disturbing.
But it's a Dr. West classic, and I love it. It's another one where I'm just like, hey, I'm glad we just met. You want to watch Crash? Oh, this is weird. Yeah, check. You know. It's a very sexual film, but it's a sexual film about car accidents.
It's interesting. Yeah, it comes out December 1st.
I can't think of the other chick that's in. There's another chick that's in that movie that's in Desperately Seeking Susan, and you haven't named her yet. It's not Holly Hunter.
Was that Arquette?
That's correct. Rosanna Arquette is in Desperately Seeking Susan, and she's also in Crash, and her character in Crash is nuts. Like, James Spader's, like, looking at her scars or something. Next thing you know, he's, like, eating her out. Like, I'm telling you, it's just weird, dude.
Sounds pretty exciting. I'll have to check it out. And she is also in, relating back to our director here, funny you mentioned Rosanna Arquette, because she is also in Nowhere to Run, which is directed by Robert Harmon that directed this film.
Van Damme, it's a great movie.
Yep, and Kieran Culkin is in it as well. Which is Fuller from fucking Home Alone, which is funny. So yeah.
Wait, was he the one that was in the fucking Mayhem movie?
No, that's the other Culkin kid.
Oh, sorry.
No, the Kieran was in...
Which, by the way, if you guys have never seen the Mayhem movie, I can't even think of the name of it, it's amazing. So good.
Wars of Chaos.
It is really good. It's a really good film.
It is. And also with Crash, which is pretty damn cool, Howard Shore did the music for it.
I'm telling you, here's the thing. If you guys have never seen Crash, it is, in my personal opinion, the best thing Cronenberg's ever done. Like, that movie is, and Dead Zone,
yeah,
of course, but dude, and Crash is fucking insane. That movie's nuts.
The Crash is like Canadian as fuck too, because all those actors are, besides Rosanna Arquette's not Canadian, but
you want to hear a funny story about Cronenberg too that I love? Cronenberg has season tickets to the Maple Leafs. Like, he never misses a game. He goes to every fucking game. We're talking an 82-game season. He does not miss a fucking game.
It's crazy.
And lives in Toronto still. Like, you know, I would love to meet him. Here's the thing with him. Like, I love some of his stuff. Like, I love his early stuff.
Yeah.
And then if he had never done The Fly, he would be one of my favorite directors. I just hate that goddamn movie.
It's disgusting.
It's fucking disgusting. That movie, I cannot watch it.
That's all it is, too. It's just like...
Especially when I live with Wheelchair Brundle. It's fucking disturbing.
Wheelchair. Brundle fucker.
You totally called that, and it fucking freaks me out.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's like you're gonna...
come downstairs one day and barf all over my beer and tear my arm off, you know?
Yeah, he's gonna fucking puke in his cereal so he can digest it, and he's gonna be like...
But dude, I'm just telling you right now, I mean, Shivers is awesome. I love Rabid. I like a lot of his stuff, and I love Scanners. Scanners is the shit.
That movie's crazy.
Scanners.
Yeah.
Stuff, but yeah, I'm all about getting my hands on Crash, because I'm telling you, that movie is fucking bananas. And all these people were mad because Arrow was putting it out, and I'm like, look, if Criterion's putting it out, it's going to be rad. Just like that Bruce Lee set. That Bruce Lee set is the best thing I've bought this whole year.
They put out Blue Velvet. You bought that for me last year. I fucking love it. It looks great. You know,
Dude,
Criterion.
Criterion does not scamp on their stuff.
Even Night of the Living Dead. That's such like a basic movie you could put out. It looks incredible, and the shit they included in it, like that Romero and fucking Coscarelli interview and shit, like that was fucking nasty.
He's promoting Dawn, and Dawn's promoting.
So fucking cool, man. It's nasty. It's nasty, is what it is. It is death metal. As fuck. It's like the most death metal shit on the planet. Was that interview you showed me?
Actually, I've got a death metal thing I want to talk to you about. I know this is like our personal stuff, not podcast related. I have a little surprise for you.
Okay.
I know you're going to be down here visiting me in Florida for Halloween.
Uh-huh.
On the 30th, at that Oak Mall down here in Miami.
Yep.
At that theater, you know, near the Oak Mall, they're showing Exorcist, one night only.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's it. We're going. It's happening.
It's literally on October 30th, so we gotta go see it.
Let's go. I've never seen that in theaters. And they've released it a bunch of times, you know, that
I'm gonna tell you guys right now, you have not seen The Exorcist till you see it in the theater. It is the most death metal shit.
It's really hard to watch even at home. That movie is, to me, the scariest movie ever made, is that movie. I'm not just saying it because I've never been able to comfortably watch that.
Out the window in the theater, it is fucking...
I've never been able in my whole life to comfortably watch that movie. Like, even now. Like, when me and you tried to watch it, like, fairly recently, I think we ended up both just falling asleep separately during it. It wasn't like we were...
We did it for the Possessed interview, and I think we kept it, I think.
No, we didn't. We redid it.
Did we chuck it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you ended up falling asleep, and then I was up, and then you fell asleep. So it was just
it's like, now I won't fall asleep when we watch it. You can't. It's too loud in the theater. Like, there's too much going on.
Well, when we were doing that, it was one of those times where it was like super late at night, too, you know. And I think we had done another film before that. It was one of those double duty things we did, and you know, it was one of those things because it was still at the old house when that happened. This is like last year.
I know I've said this on this podcast a million times, but if you guys didn't notice, the main priest, not Max von Sydow, but the main priest in The Exorcist is actually Jason Patrick's dad. So
yeah, Lost Boys.
Don't know that.
Yeah.
Which, if you had got to meet him, that's the one thing I've always wanted to talk to him about. It's like, man, your dad is fucking horror royalty.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't get better than Take Me, Rex. I'm just like, it's fucking possessed. It's fucking
yeah, it's fucking rad. So I think the three, in my opinion, like scariest movies, just for effect purposes, to me, that has always made me uneasy, but I love. Exorcist is number 1. Number 2 is The Shining. And it sounds dumb, but number 3 is Hellraiser. I mean, it is. It's just, that movie.
Hellraiser is a disturbing film.
It's goddamn raunchy, and it it's one of a kind. The way it makes you...
I only have 2.
The way it makes me feel is like fucking just... Ugh. I mean, I love watching it.
I have 3. Are you ready? This is 1, 2, and 3. You ready?
Go for it.
Number 1, The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2. You ready?
Yeah.
That's weird. The Exorcist is coming on today. I'm going to record it. Number 2. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, you kidding me?
It's just it's an uneasy feeling when you're watching this. It's genius, but it's an uneasy feeling purposely there.
Yeah, I would tie that with Hellraiser and even put that before it and put Hellraiser at like 4, because I mean that movie is huge.
Hellraiser's that's a good one, man.
It is.
You're on
but,
it with the
yeah,
thing.
Texas Chainsaw is up there.
I'm going to tell you another one. And I tried watching this in the middle of the night last night, and I want to give it I ever given enough props, especially me being a Carpenter fan. First Halloween is freaky deaky in the middle of the night. It is.
Yeah.
Because he's just roaming, and it's just like, hey.
Yeah, and seeing that in the theater is really bitching. You know, the only one out of those... You know, I've never seen Texas Chainsaw in the theater. I saw...
Oh, yeah, it's Brad.
I would love to. I saw Hellraiser, you know, with the cast or whatever when they did that thing in Texas. I thought that was really fun. I mean, you saw The Shining a couple times, which is fucking rad. So, yeah, seeing Exorcist would be great.
What I just told you, though, about...
yeah, I'll check it out.
Because I told Jeff about it. Jeff from Possess, a buddy of mine, he is going to actually go watch it where he lives. They're showing it one night only on October 30th. It's a Fathom event thing.
No, they are also playing... Well, it'll be after I put this up, I'm sure, anyway, but they are playing Friday the 13th for a couple days. They might be doing it a little bit more, I don't know, but...
I gotta say, I went and saw it last night. It was, if you want to hear about it real quick, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And still my favorite kill, and it's Corey in a raincoat. He's like, what are you doing out in this mess?
That's my favorite kill, too, because I always like that guy in it. And then when he dies, I still... It was one of the weird deaths where I was like, I actually still like that guy even though he's dead, you know. I was like, man, he's dead.
I go completely crazy on Phantasm. You're wearing your Slimer shoes and your Ghostbusters 2 jammies, and you're like, what are you doing out in this mess? And then you're like, oh. So yeah, in theater, it's been a while. It was incredibly effective, man. I tell you, it's a good one. I like that one. I'm excited more for the Scream Factory one because people don't realize that the Steelbook that came out earlier this year and all this other stuff, it's the fucking unrated version.
Yeah.
What I saw last night's the straight up R version. Like I like it. It's fine the way that it is. I don't have to have it. I mean, it's cool to have it as a bonus feature, but I want to watch both. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm excited to get the Friday box set, just so I can watch the R version of the first film because it's just good.
I think it's going to be fun for what is it, part 2, where they have that scene in there that's been unearthed, and part 3's got like some real 3D shit.
I was going to tell you that same at that Oak Mall, the same one I was telling you about, where I saw that last night. They're actually, this is another thing I want you to go in. Well, there's two things I want you to do, because they were showing the Fathom event things during it, but something else we're going to have to go do in December. They're showing Clockwork Orange over there.
Oh, man. That's another one, too. That's just a disturbing-ass movie. It's
that
awesome,
movie
though.
is fucking awesome.
It is awesome. Well, that's if they keep the theaters open, because after this week, they're going to be toast.
Yeah, but that's its own thing. Remember that theater down here where I'm at? That's chain. It's its
that's
own
true.
thing.
Yeah, because any Regal, if they're doing that stuff, they're shutting those down, but other theaters
I
will
like
stay
it.
open.
It's like my little indie horror. It's like, oh, you have your indie horror thing people go to? That's cool. You can go watch fucking Color of My Butthole and all this other stuff and the remake of all these great films, and I'll go watch fucking Exorcist.
Yeah. That's where we saw The Shining the first time, so it's going to be kind of cool to go back there and see that again.
I'm not even joking.
It's awesome.
October 30th. I don't know what day that falls on, but they're showing that motherfucker, and I'm like,
it'll be a Friday.
7 o'clock.
It's Friday.
I'm all about it. I mean, I say we go grab some chow, and then we go in there and fucking watch that motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm down as fuck. We'll do it. I'm off that all week anyway, and it's Halloween. Go see the fucking Exorcist, the most OG Halloween shit, period. That's like...
And a fun throwback to that movie, if you guys don't know this, I don't know if any people listen to this know anything about the band Twisted Sister, but that's what the song Captain Howdy's about.
Yeah, that's what Reagan called it.
Right, she's talking to on the fucking thing. It's like...
It's her imaginary friend that's really...
But I'm telling you, in the theater, you were going to duke yourself when he's like, take me out the window, down the stairs. I'm just like...
Yeah, me and the doctor, when we go to movies and stuff, when he's in town or I'm in his place, his town, usually he's up here. But we just, people want to kick us out because we're like doing blast beat, like air blast beating and fucking windmills and.
Oh, we're gonna be doing that whole movie is just dun 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 dun.
As soon as the scene where she starts like where she like pisses on the floor, it's just like. It's like that's when it starts. It just gets.
You know what I was humming in my head last time I watched it. Last time I watched it was like 5 years ago when you were at that concert.
Yeah.
But like right when when shit starts going bad and they have to put her in her room and the medical test fail and everything. So probably about a third of the way through the film, I'm like, we shall not rise. I mean, it's just good times, man. You're over there and you're, it's fucking Jesus wept, fucking.
Yeah. Or it's God. Why have you forsaken me? Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, dude, it's
yeah, it's just perfect. It's just nasty shit. So yeah, that's actually really exciting, and looking forward to that. Again, that's seriously the movie that started it all for me as someone who watches horror to this day that always enjoyed it. And
well, here's the other thing. I'm looking at something on it right now. You're going to be into this. I think we should do the double feature. It's actually cheaper. It's only $20. And guess what we get to watch before it?
What?
And this is something they're just locally showing. It's not like a...
They're doing a double feature with that?
Yeah, we're doing it. It's fucking Evil Dead 2. We're totally doing
it. Are you kidding me, dude?
No, I'm not. I'm sitting here looking at it.
I mean, I think Army's still my favorite, but Evil Dead 2, I fucking love.
It's fun, dude.
Love that movie. I hate, speaking of Deicide, yeah, I really don't like the first one. It's such a hard to watch movie, like now, because I've seen it so many times. It's just not...
Dude, that second one is the shit.
The second one, though, is just like, oh my god, it's fucking raunchy. The part, it's like...
Here you go. This is for our audience. What's on Phantasm Podcast? Someone with a fresh soul.
It's my favorite, one of my favorite horror scenes, like, ever. He's just like, the fuck does he say? He's like, damn it, I lost my train of thought. It's that whole Dead by Dawn scene.
Listen, Corey's fruit seller, someone with a fresh soul.
Yeah, he's like, Dead by Dawn. He's like, we are the things that were and shall be again.
We want what is yours. Life! It's like, ridiculous. That whole scene is just fucking death metal. Then, of course, it's...
Robert Tappert's going to be at Horrorhound next year, supposedly, but...
That's awesome. But yeah, Evil Dead 2 is another one that's fucking death metal.
If you want to invest in some Sam Raimi gold, I'm hoping the new Doctor Strange movie's the tits, but here's the deal. All you need is Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, and Darkman. Those are the best things he ever did, period. It's the trilogy.
Yep, it is. That's the same.
Those three movies are the tits. Those movies are the shit.
I agree. 100%.
But no, Evil Dead 2 is a great... I mean, I'll defend it till I'm dead. It actually is... It is fucking awesome. It's so good.
It is. That's my favorite one. I mean, Army of Darkness is up there, but Evil Dead 2 is just...
Oh, it's so fucking...
You're gonna see that, and then The Exorcist? Yeah, that... Ooh. It's fucking nasty, dude. It's good shit. Yeah, Deicide. I mean... It's Deicide as fuck, which is, I mean, that's just, that's some death metal shit, that movie.
And not to selflessly promote this podcast, but as a child, because my father lived near Morristown, I would go up to the remains, and my friend Matt and I would sit and literally drink Jack Daniels until we passed out on the remains by a campfire.
Yeah, the original,
that is
Evil Dead grounds there in Morristown, yeah. Which is cool because even in the film, they're in Tennessee. I don't know if they're supposed to be Morristown, Tennessee in the film, but they're in Tennessee in the film. They weren't trying to be anywhere else. And
but it's...
Now it's just...
Kids, no one can touch Phantasm Podcast because we are the only podcast that has roots to Evil Dead. No one else on this planet has roots to it. And you guys have never heard this story. I'm going to tell it really quick. During the fucking comet blackout moon landing thing a few years ago, we were going to go meet Bruce Campbell.
We were, and we just didn't. We just straight up...
Well, I think we'll meet him at some point in time. I think it's fated to happen, but I can't wait to tell him that story. It's like we didn't come because of the eclipse or whatever the fuck it was.
I saw him last year... No, year before last. He did like that last fan standing thing that he does, like that game show thing.
Right.
I saw that and that was cool, but you know, it wasn't the same as like actually meeting him. I didn't really have... I was kind of strapped for cash to that convention, so I didn't really fork over the dough. I mean, I saw him fucking sitting there. It's pretty insane, honestly, because he's a pretty dapper ass dude, you know. But yeah, it would be cool, you know. And I like that Sam Raimi does that shit now, and I think it'd be cool, you know. I mean, like I said, Evil Dead's really overrated, I think, for what it is, but it's like, dude, I'd be like, dude, Evil Dead 2, I mean, Darkman, like, dude, you're the shit, man. It's the Spider-Man...
Oh, those three movies are outstanding.
How you went from those to that Spider-Man trilogy, I'm not even going to go into that with you, Mr. Raimi, but goddamn.
I mean, I love Spider-Man. I wish he had done it right, but that's not what happened.
No. But, I don't know. He did it really good, you know, bunch of movies there.
Oh, shit. Evil Dead 2, this is for all our viewers out there and for Corey, Evil Dead 2 is streaming on Hulu right now.
There you go. Yeah, it's weird as I had a copy of it on Blu-ray, and I ended up selling it because I was going to get the 4K, and I do not have it. But they have a steelbook of it.
I actually, believe it or not, I have the 4K.
I was going to get it, and I just haven't seen it because I actually just wanted to find it and not, like, buy it offline. Because they do have a 4K steelbook that I think FYE put out a while back, but it's out of print now. Because I have a steelbook of the first Evil Dead, like the original, and so I wanted a steelbook of Evil Dead 2. I guess that's why I just kind of didn't buy it. And then I have the Scream Factory Army of Darkness or whatever. But
the Army of Darkness I have is worth a lot of money. I have the steelbook that the Scream Factory put out.
Yeah, it's a nice one. One of the best steelbooks they put out too. That artwork's fucking beautiful.
Oh, just to let you guys know, I'm running through the Sam Raimi stuff real quick here to give you guys what's up streaming. If you have the Peacock app, which I do, Darkman is free this month. So
nice.
And so is Blues Brothers.
Yeah, I think Darkman is also on HBO. I think they're all on there. Pretty sure.
Not the first one. First one's only on Peacock.
So it's 2 and 3. I saw it on one of the streaming apps. I saw them on there, so I don't know if it was HBO or what. Amazon, something like that. It's on.
I'm not huge on streaming, but I don't mind telling our fans where this stuff is. That way they can watch it.
Yeah, like today, our feature film was on HBO. You can, and you can do it two ways. The doctor had it on his TV subscription, and then I had it on HBO Max.
It's nice not to watch those fucking ads too.
Yeah, because usually we do Tubi or and ads on Tubi, and we have ads on it, and it's a pain in the ass, but it's free, and we can still do this quarantine stuff and give you guys a feature film and another episode to listen to while you're quarantining or back to work or whatever the fuck you're doing, doing your thing. So
I am watching Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. That's my double feature.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I love this movie.
Well, yeah, final thoughts.
Love it. I know we kind of didn't talk a lot about the film. The Hitcher's just a great film, and it's kind of slow, so I'm glad we were on pace talking today, because if you guys are just trying to watch it and you're kind of tired, make sure you're awake when you watch it, because it is kind of a slow mover, but it's a great film.
Yeah, it's more, when it gets into the stuff with Nash and all that, it kind of like makes it a little bit, the pace slowed down from what's really going on, but
I will say this, the remake has a better pace to it.
Yeah. I think it's a short...
The remake is relentless. Sean Bean is an ass in that movie. Rutger Hauer is a pussycat compared to Sean Bean.
It's crazy.
And I mean, I prefer the original, because I grew up with it and saw it in the theater and all that good stuff, but I'm telling you, the remake, it's pretty relentless for what it is.
Yeah.
And it's actually streaming on Sci-Fi right now if you guys want to watch The Hitcher. Of course, it'll be edited, but not too bad.
Yeah. They'll drag you out to the filthy desert. But anyway, yeah, Hitcher's classic. Rutger Hauer's just, well, he's very, like I said earlier, he's very cerebral in this, and just, he's got that stare, man. He just knows what he's doing when he's acting. It's crazy. He's a cool motherfucker, and you can tell they chopped it up a little bit, and they could have been a lot raunchier, but, I mean, I think it's just more the subtleness of it, and, like, kind of how, you know, the John Ryder character comes back and forth, like, out of nowhere, and there's not much anticipation of it. He just shows back up. I think that's pretty cool how they did that, and, you know, it's a solid film, man. It's, you know, he's a good character, and C. Thomas Howell's great in it, and Jennifer Jason Leigh's great in it, and it's good shit. Solid.
She's not in that movie as much as you think when you watch it. It's kind of...
No, she's kind of like second half, you know.
I mean, she's in it, but she's not.
She's in it for the second half, and then she gets chopped in half. So, yeah. More like stretched in half, but stretched in half. But, yeah, it's solid shit. I dig it. It's a good choice, as always, from the Doctor.
Another thing, too, if you guys are into watching streaming stuff, the Death documentary, which I highly recommend, is on Tubi still. Not sure why, but it's on there streaming free. If you guys haven't seen it, it's worth watching.
It's pretty cool. I think there's a couple of them on there, but there's one that's like the main one.
I have to be honest with you. I thought they did a pretty good job considering what they were working with. It wasn't bad.
Yeah. It's good stuff. You guys just want some good metal documentaries. I mean, Tubi's got a lot of that stuff anyway. You can just find weird shit. Like there's a...
And one of my favorites, if you guys want to watch it, speaking of Hulu, you can watch Decline the Western Civilization Part 2 on here right now.
Yep. Which is a lot of fun.
It's also on Amazon Prime.
It is. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff on there and on Tubi, and Amazon Prime's got like cool stuff too, like weird metal documentaries, and
Peacock also has all the Harry Potter movies on there right now too, if you guys are into that.
Yep, they were on HBO and they got taken off of there.
They're on Peacock.
They got ripped off of there to go on Peacock, so that's where they're at now. I mean, I own them all anyway, but it was nice to have them on an app, so I don't have to open my Blu-rays, put them in my Xbox. I can just, you know, load them up, because I can't tell you how many movies I own, and I just stream it instead, because I don't feel like fucking messing with them. I like keeping them in their cases and leaving them alone. So, yeah, those Harry Potter movies I binged all the time when I got Max, and I watch them on here instead of popping them in. So,
right.
Plus, I don't have the 4Ks. A lot of these apps now, they stream in 4K, so it's kind of upgraded from what I have anyway. Just like a regular Blu-ray. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, every time I watch this movie, I mean, and this is just a withstanding offer, you know. Danielle Harris just needs to have sex with me. She's just so hot. I love her. She's so sexy. Not in this movie, but she's sexy now. She's really attractive. I'd love to meet her at a convention.
I've met her.
Try out the doctor's penis. She's actually close to my age, too. I didn't realize that. So, it's not me doing anything weird. She's actually an older lady, so that's good. Speaking of older ladies, there's Leela. But yeah.
Wow, that's really weird.
Hitcher's good. I wish there was a nicer hot def print of it one day, but Hitcher seems like something that fucking Severin or fucking Vinegar Syndrome will end up putting out.
Yeah?
It just seems like something that they'll end up doing at some point. The fact that they put out the most controversial film ever to never be released on Blu-ray, and then they put it out on 4K with Rad. I mean, I guess they can do anything they want.
What is it?
The fact that they put Rad out in 4K is insane.
Oh, yeah. Well, so Rad is, that was 86, too, so.
That one's up there, man. That's another one I've got to mention it. That's another major film that I love. I don't love it more than Thrashing, but it's up there. I will take Rad over Big Trouble, and I'll take it over, probably take it over The Wraith, even.
Huh.
No, it's kind of tied with Wraith, so it's just tied right there with Wraith. And Big Trouble's like slightly below it. Because Rad was great, but it's not Thrashing. I still like Thrashing more than I do Rad. I was more of a skateboard guy than I was a bicycle guy.
Right.
But Rad is a great movie, though. Leila, did you just pee on that? Leila. Sorry, Wheelchair Fucker's cat she's a small beast.
Yeah.
No. Just got full step by her, but yeah, man, Hitcher's good. You guys should check it out. It's good. The remake's good. I don't normally like remakes. I actually like that film. Thought it was pretty entertaining for what it is. You know, it's not it wasn't like they were trying to like re-rock the movie genre when they made it, so it's pretty cool. But, yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
And look at your local theaters, the independent ones that are not a movie chain. They might, because I don't think AMC's closing. I know Regal is, but I think that's actually kind of morbid that they're closing back down again.
Yeah, well, the main reason was because that fucking Bond movie got pushed back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, whatever, but.
I find it just in closing really morbid that they're closing everything down again. It's just really hard.
Yeah, it's, hopefully it doesn't get too bad, but we'll see. But yeah, we, thank you guys for tuning in and, sticking with us through all this, and we hope you enjoyed The Hitcher. We've never seen it, and yeah, stay fucking gory.
I know that driving doesn't come naturally, but I have impressed your abilities. Run your signal. It's pulled its parking lot here. It's great. It's like a slight little to the left. Tell you to stop. And put it in the You are going inside. 12 country ham biscuits, 12 Cajun chicken filet biscuits, and one, actually make it 3 steak biscuits. Can I at least get my signal? No, you may not. This is for faculty and staff only. Go. Rush on it. It's go time. Let's move.
As everything ends and crumbles around me, I give you a fresh beginning. This is Dr. Vincent West, medical doctor from the FANTASM Podcast. Prepare yourselves for godless heathens coming soon.